win rate over 7 games this season, Lithy. If that is not a power pick, a pocket pick, a comfort pick, however you want to say it, Goot is in his element. I would be very, very surprised if Carioca can hand him his first loss on this champion this split. Then again, he is also playing his most successful champion this split on the Wukong. So 2 Titans in the jungle right now. I'm really focusing on this jungle matchup, especially after what we saw yesterday and what essentially Wiz did, right? To Hugato. I mean, it was just domination across the board, all every game, every single match. And I think we are going to potentially see the same thing here with Goot. If he's going to want to exert as much pressure as he can, as much as much as he can do, and really force Carioca to make decisions that he's not necessarily comfortable with, right? We've had the idea that Carioca, although albeit an amazing jungler in his own right, can have some really, really bad games, right? His lows are some of the lowest lows we've seen in CBLOL.
It sure does happen. The jungler matchup is going to be super important, but in general, the early game is the big breaking point for Furia, I think. You got a Gwen on the top side that you don't want to necessarily put too much in resources into. You want to get Netuno on the Draven ahead as fast as possible, and Envy and Good both are perfectly equipped to pull that off. So watching this bot lane, and as you brought up, the jungle matchup is going to be super, super interesting. But also Dinquedo on that Azir. I don't remember him playing much Azir. I think it's 2 games of the whole course of the whole split. But if he's done it, it's looked pretty good.
Yeah, and this is like one of the more classic answers, right? You just pick scaling into Ahri, right? And you just outrange her, right? So that's the idea, is when you pick Azir, you want to get this really long range mage into the mid lane. So there's like virtually no way she can pressure you, right? You could Shurima shuffle out. You have the mobility somewhat to, avoid some of her all-in potential. And it's really funny that Envy also opting in for the electrocute here. So he's definitely trying to kill Dinquedo, and they're definitely want to set up maybe Flash Charm for Goot so that he can gank mid. I mean, there's a lot of different opportunities. And like you mentioned, they're not going to play towards this Gwen. With Goot starting top lane, starting on that blue side and full clearing, he is very much indicating that I want to get my Draven ahead, I want to get my Ahri ahead, and I want to just get my 2 most strongest snowballing lanes out and about, and to cause havoc at the moment. Because FNB on this Gwen, he's going to be relevant. He's going to be able to do what he needs to. This matchup into Weiser, I mean he's 100% win rate on Gwen. I feel like Furia has gotten all the champions that they love, and Pain has kind of hasn't really stopped much in terms of the ban phase. So we're going to see what Furia can do, if they're going to be handed their first loss on a lot of these champions, or if Pain Gaming is going to have to come back and rethink their draft strategy.
Absolutely. That's going to be the interesting question. But of course, we gotta for the moment here commend FMB for being so patient and passive while he was expecting Karaoke to be on the top side of the jungle, ready to gank his top lane, because he went on the Wukong for classic Gromp buff into red buff into top lane gank and didn't find anything. And that puts, I want to say, Pain Gaming on a decent back foot for the early game minutes.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at the CS difference right now, and I'm pretty sure this isn't bugged, but FMB is at a staggering 7 CS to 26 at the moment because he expected that gank. Now, there was a huge wave coming, as we might see a gank from Goot.
Trigo is not looking too hot. Netuno going in. First blood for Furia. The Draven cashing in, not too much, but it is more than Pain was hoping for.
Yeah, he's going to cash in about, I believe, a couple hundred gold there. Really nice from Furia to give that over, right? I mean, I had a feeling Goot was going to take it, but they ended up, once they saw the flash come out from Trigo and no cleanse at all, which I believe you could have cleansed the Ignite there, he just ends up dying completely. Really nice gank timing from Goot, right? You just kind of see the difference in what happened, right? Wukong went top, couldn't get anything off. FNB was very, very smart in how he played that. And they just did not suspect that Goot started topside and was just going bot, right? He full cleared and was able to path bot and get a kill. I mean, that is like a jungler's dream. You stay up on CS, you stay up on ganks, you stay up on pressure, and now you could re-gank that lane anytime you want because Trigo's flashes down, damages flashes down, but Redbird still has his ready to make the play on bot lane again if he ever so pleases.
Absolutely. That Leona might come in handy. I mean, Redbird also. We don't talk about supports too much, right? But Redbird's Leona is like the champion when I think about Redbird. It's awesome to see him on that pick, and especially finding success this early on in the game. It's only going to get better from here on out. But I was talking about how I was wondering where CBLOL stands in terms of the global meta, because we were shifting. If we look at the LCK, LEC, to an extent, LCS, we were shifting more and more towards early gameplay, early aggression, getting leads before the 15-minute mark and snowballing with that. And it really seems like Furia is on a massive, massive streak to capitalize on this playstyle quite well as they find more traits on the bot side, even looking at the first dragon.
Yeah, they're a very aggressive team, right? I mean, it just feels like when they exert pressure, a kill happens, an objective happens. They really know where to place their resources to get the most, I think, to get the most value out of it, right? And that's kind of what has made Furia, in my opinion, the #1 team. That's why they finished first in the regular split, is they just really understand when to move, how to move to get the most value out of their picks. And right now, you look at it, they're taking this dragon at the 6-minute 45-second mark right now. It's going to go down before anybody can contest, and they may potentially just look to take this fight as well.
Yeah, the Braum in the front line, but that's not gonna last for long. Damage takes so much pain as he is taken out. Second kill going over to Furia on top of that Infernal Dragon. And they just have to run for the hills. Pain Gaming gets beaten out of contention.
And most teams in that situation, Lithy, we've seen it before. They are completely content on taking the dragon, walking out. But Furia, understanding, and they have the man advantage. Azir was still hanging around in the mid lane while Envy was able to roam. They took that fight, no questions asked. The moment somebody showed up, I see Redbird flying in with the Zenith and then stunning up anybody they could. And like you said, they pick up another kill. That one ends up going over to Leona, unfortunately, but a nice early game so far, and they still have 8 minutes of it to play with Pain Gaming, and it looks like just Pain Gaming is on the back foot consistently. They're trying to be proactive, but anything that happens immediately gets stuffed out from the other members of Furia.
Yeah, and look at Good now already putting an aggression towards the enemy jungle. They're gonna wait for Carrick.
With Envy.
Carrick was spotted. I'm not sure if he saw that they're sitting in his jungle. Takes the way or long way around. Is gonna avoid that little death trap at his red buff. But Furia get away with daylight robbery. And they're gonna transition this right into the first Herald as well, rotating Netuno and Redbird up towards the mid lane. Such beautiful objective play coming out from Furia in the first 8 minutes here.
Yeah, and Wukong couldn't contest this at any moment just until right now. He was level 5 the whole time. So if he was going to go in on this, he would have had to go in with no ultimate. He just ticked 6 off of clearing his Krugs in that top side. So that red takeaway was so crucial, right? You prevent the Wukong 6, you transition that into the Herald, they can't contest, and now you go top. And I'm pretty sure if you're good, you can win this by yourself.
2v2. Good in the 2v1 right now. It might be in a question. There's the Heartbreaker. He goes in hard and takes out Wiser. Yeah. Counter-Strike connects. The next Heartbreaker gives him a double. You called it, Chibi. He executes it. Beautiful stuff by Furia. They are just taking this early game by storm.
If I'm Goot right now, if I'm him, I'd just drop this Herald. I know he's gonna back. I know he's gonna back because he's not a selfish player. But as we see the replay here, I felt like Goot knew what was happening, but they didn't expect them to jump onto FNB so quickly. But the moment I saw these health bars, I was like, oh, here's the execute that comes out. This is just an easy soul steal from Goot here, and he's able to just pick up the double, shove the wave in, get 2 kills for himself, and that is the reason why this guy has a 100% win rate on this champion. There's a reason he's not allowed to have Viego most of the time, but it's slipped through, and you just look at him. 202 has a Divine Sunder in play. He is so far ahead of his counterpart in Carioca, and it's not even that Carioca is necessarily having a bad game. It's just Goot is having a much better one.
Absolutely. Just the pressure they've been putting on Karaoke, on the Wukong. We talked about the red steel. It's nothing, not much he can do. The early gangs were just
No,
perfectly played out by Furia. Pain in some cases not really expecting or respecting rather the engaged potential and fighting power that Furia was bringing to the table. And now they're just losing the game to it more and more. The solar flare comes in, and
goodbye.
damage cannot take a lot of it as Netuno cashes in once again. It's the second kill on the Draven. And look at his items. 85 CS, 2 kills. Is that, well, I mean, that's a mythic basically completed. Oh,
Yeah,
Envy?
we'll see what he opts into. He has got a lot of components here. Envy's dead.
Oh
That is
no!
the long. Yeah,
The monkey puts the bonk stick on the table. That's unfortunate.
that auto range was pretty disgusting on the Q. I'm not gonna lie, it like reached almost 2-3 Tibos away, and they get the bottom lane here. And the thing to mention here, and the caveat is that Pain Gaming essentially picked a scaling composition, right? They have the Azir, they have the Aphelios, they have the Jax, even
Yeah.
Wukong to an extent scales very, very well. So
But
if
look
they
at the
can hold
gold.
out, yeah, I mean the gold, it is up to Furia, right, to keep the pressure on, put the pedal to the metal, and really just never let their foot off the gas against Pain. Because the moment that happens, the moment Pain is allowed to slow the game down, maybe they take a dragon, maybe they able to pick up some kills here and really slow the pace down, Pain can start pulling ahead. They are only 3,000 gold ahead at the 12-minute marks for Furia here, and unfortunately, Kato did have to end up with the Shattered Crown, so he's not going to have so much damage and have that 3-item power spec that we're used to seeing because he just needs to stay safe. He needs to avoid the burst coming out, but Goot, he will happily try to take this 1v2 if he wants to, but he understands he doesn't want to limit test in a playoff series, and also Karaoke is coming down, but they're going to contest this blue buff here, and I love it. Contest every single objective possible if you can. Force them to work, force them to smite, force them to burn resources and time just so they can get the scraps of their jungle. I like how Furia is playing this early game so far.
Take everything you can get and leave nothing for the rest. It is absolutely beautiful. Gives him a about 3.5k gold lead as well on top of that. And that's at sub 13 minutes. That is a massive, massive advantage they have garnered for themselves. They're going to grab the second dragon as well. It's a Hextech one. So the soul, ocean, mountain, or a cloud, we'll see that in a second. It's a mountain soul as well for Furia. Can it get any better? I say no, Shibby.
Yeah, having a mountain soul into a late game composition is really nice, right? Because you get a little extra armor, that MR. Plus, if you can pick up the soul, you get that shield that comes in. So it just allows you to kind of take these fights with a little bit more aggression, since you have the extra resistances, since you have the extra little shield coming in. And I think finally Netuno's going to go and finish out one of these items. He has kind of the bargain bin. Yeah, he picked up the Immortal Shield Bow here with another BF sword and also has a Serrated Dirk in hand. This guy is so absurdly far ahead, Lithy, that he potentially one-shots or two-taps pretty much everybody other than Weiser on Pain Gaming side right now.
And I mean, good in the same ballpark, right? 203 on that Viego, 100 CS. That's a completed Divine Sundra with that Clawfield's Warhammer. So they'll just be popping off in the next few minutes. And it's a perfect time to be at this stage. Turret platings are going to fall, so no return gold able to be garnered by Pain in the next few minutes as well on that front. And from here on out, you can just snowball the game methodically. Take out all the remaining tier 1 turrets, push into the jungle, don't give Pain an inch. Except for maybe the bot lane as Envy has to surrender the turret, but it looks so good for Furia right now. And I'm starting to wonder, where does Pain go from here?
I mean, Pain literally has to just look to stabilize, right? They have to slow the game down. If they can get a dragon here, if they just get one dragon, that extends the game by literally 5 minutes, which allows them to get it to that 27 to 30-minute mark, which allows them to scale, pick up 2 to 3 items. I mean, Aphelios and Azir, when they get their items, they start to hurt, and they will start to shred through anything that Furia can put up. It really is up to Pain Gaming to slow the pace of the game down right now. Sneak a drag, get a pick if they possibly can, right? Get a sneaky engage with the Wukong plus Shurima Shuffle and just look to stop this momentum that Furia is bringing right now, because it's 3.5K, like you said, still, but you just look across the board. Everybody has their mythics nearly completed on the side of Furia. I believe Ari's going to be able to get it after she takes this Scuttle Crab as well. And the fact that Netuno is so far ahead, you kind of have to catch him out on his own, because if he's going to fight, if you're going to opt into a front-to-back fight against Furia at this moment, they are just going to tear through your front line, what semblance of a front line you have, and they're going to get to you, and they're probably going to ace you here. Dying here could just set you so far back if you're Pain Gaming. So if you just don't die, stabilize, I think there is a shot for them.
The big thing for me on top of that is, while we do see all the mythics coming now for Pain Gaming, we've got the Gale Force completed, 2 Divine Sunrise. The fact is, you already brought it up, didn't Quado with the Crown of the Shattered Queen. And that's an Azir that's going to need even longer to scale into the game. Wiser, looking to get aggressive. They're trying to force this Herald off the tier 1 turret. The charge goes in anyway, but nothing more than that happening. So Furia, they can put on some pressure, but not really in the position at the moment to get that tier 1 turret. Straight up 5v5 team fights under the turret. They don't want to force these right now.
I would have loved for Furia to save that Herald until the Dragon comes up and force Pain Gaming to make a decision, right? Do we send somebody the Herald? Do we have to send somebody in over to take that out while the Dragon is up? They end up popping it a little early just to get like a massive chunk of damage out onto this middle lane turret. They probably are looking to just take it out before the Dragon comes up so they can get up and put some more vision down. They've essentially got every single tier 1 down other than mid, and with the way things are looking and the resets that have just come out from Pain Gaming, they should just be able to take this right now.
Yep. They put up a 5-man defense just to let it drop a few seconds later. I mean, you can respect the effort, but then again, Furia are just really happy about all the resources they are given. All tier 1s now in the bin. And with that, we look at the gold once again. Getting larger and larger, this gold lead. Got all the vision being pushed into the enemy jungle as well. Pain does a decent job at kind of preventing this vision line from creeping up too far to their own tier 2 turret line with all these pings, but still, complete control of the river and the Drake Pit.
Yeah, it's not past too far where they can't walk into their jungle, but anything past, like you said, that tier 1 line, it is complete and utter darkness. It is like a horror movie for Pain Gaming, right? And you saw what happened last time they tried to contest the Dragon, right? That Infernal Drake. They ended up losing the fight even though they had higher HP bars just because of the mana advantage. And now they've postured around this Dragon, but what can they really do? Gwen is on the bot side, can flank if she wants to. They can choose to let somebody split. Are they just going to do the Dragon dance here? And Karaoke and FNB just literally cross paths. They say, hi, what's up? And then they're just like, all right, let's go back to the fight.
Yeah, a little bit of a drive-by waving at your enemy. But that, of course, uncovered the flank position Karaoke was in, right? He's trying to get there again. FNB still sitting there, just waiting for someone to walk into his arms. He's going to put in some pressure, make some room for his team. Furia, definitely the team ahead and the team to watch here. Envy looking for some engage with the charm. Can't quite land it. The Everfrost should be available to him by now. I'm not sure if he actually got to buy it. But the Dragon down to half already. Still looking to reset it in some way. FNB can just hop into the pit. Envy, in the meantime, going to shove out the midwave a little bit. This might be the moment for Pain to strike, to claim the Drake. Solar Flare on 2. Immediate cleanse by Trigo. But it's FNB in the middle of everything. And that's the jungler down. The Dragon on a silver platter here. The smite goes in. It is picked up, but Wiser, the Jax, not able to find anything. And here comes Netuno. Triple kill for the Draven and the ace for Furia.
Oh my lord. That Draven was a big, big boy, Lithy. We hyped it up this whole time after he picked up those 2 kills into the bottom lane. You see the replay going. It originally looks like a solid play for Pain Gaming. The Solar Flare ends up going down onto 2, and you just see FNB causing a havoc into the back line of Pain Gaming. And after all that, Envy on the flank, ready to kill. The Dragon gets picked up, but Netuno this whole time with his spinning axe is just chunking and laying into Pain Gaming, giving them just an absolute thrashing in this team fight. Netuno picks up the triple kill with expert positioning and really, really well played fight from Furia. That is just simply them slapping them with their wallet, saying, you are not allowed to contest this dragon. Never come back here again.
A beautiful, beautiful fight. Soul point on top of that. Gold lead ballooned up to 7, almost. Not almost. Yeah, let's stay with 7K. That sounds more appropriate. Quick math's not my strength, as you guys can see. And with that,
it's 7,000, right? Virtually, it's 7,000.
Yeah.
And
we'll stay with that.
Board. Yeah, you see across the board the item lead that's coming out, right? Now you have Viego picking up the Chemtech Chainsaw. You have the Blighted Jewel coming out from Envy as well. Netuno on a whopping 3 items, right? He's gonna finish this Infinity Edge once he backs. And it is just disgusting. He is gonna tear through everybody. You just look across the board, the wallet difference. And I mean, Goot having a fantastic game, pretty much 80% kill participation across the board. Same thing with Netuno as well. These two have been doing a really good job being in almost every single fight that's happened and just pumping out the damage, being the carries that Furia needs, right? FNB staying stable, staying strong, understanding his role in the Gwen. He doesn't need to shine. He doesn't need to be a superstar. He just needs to go in, cause havoc, force them to burn CDs on Gwen while he is immune, and allow Netuno and Goot to just get the damage off, allow Goot to reset and really just take over these fights. And Furia have played this early game well, have transitioned it into a beautiful, beautiful 7,000, roughly 7,000 gold lead here. And if I was them, I would turn my eyes on this Baron, start and stop, force Pain Gaming to come in and make a mistake. They have so much money on the table right now that they could just do that.
Yeah, TP invested into the mid lane. Dinquedo wants to help shove this one out. The biggest threat on the side of Pain Gaming right now is Wiser on that Jax, though. Still sitting strong in the side lane, has a Hull Breaker completed now as well, sitting on those 2 items, 25 CS ahead of FMB. So this Jax is still a massive, massive threat. And if Pain manages to slow the game down more, as you talked about earlier already, if they manage to deny Barons, even if they can't necessarily take a fight, those side turrets are gonna fall sooner or later, and that's maybe an avenue for Pain back into the game.
Yeah, and if I'm Wiser here, if I have this Hull Breaker, I virtually never group, right? I mean, I only group unless I have to stop a major, major objective. He needs to be able to trust his team that they won't get caught out, that they won't die, so he could just put the work in on the item advantage that he has at the moment, right? Hull Breaker, super cheap, allows you to get an item advantage, but only for a very short amount of time. He needs to start pressuring these side waves a little bit more, staying on this bot side, and just forcing FNB over so that maybe, just maybe, Pain Gaming can potentially get a pick. They can potentially see a Rima shuffle, as Dinquedo has just not looked too hot on this Azir. Yeah, he hasn't made any mistakes, but he has not been the reason that they are winning these fights. And a late ultimate came out during that dragon fight. Everybody was dead. Like, Dinquedo really needs to step up on this Azir pick.
Oh, little pick on damage is forced to use that Glacial Fissure, and that's a massive, massive disengage tool used. And the perfect call sign for Furia to just start up this Baron. They have complete vision control around the pit. Now Damage finally gets some light into the darkness, but can they actually do anything here? Wiser is in base. He has a TP available. It will pop that one into the pit, and this is where Furia is gonna pull back. And as you mentioned, the Baron dance is the big point. The charm doesn't quite land as Envy Spirit rushes forward. But from here, well,
yeah, that is a successful salsa, if you ask me, right? They get the TP out. The Baron dance was successful for Furia, and they turn their tails immediately towards Dragon. Even with the vision setup not being there, they can just walk up and take this. FNB is ready. Now you have to realize Damage doesn't have an ultimate here. The ultimate advantage comes onto Furia. The Dragon dance is coming up. They're leashing the Dragon. Furia is taking it, but now can Karaoke and Pain Gaming play this fight just a little bit better than they did the last one?
That's the big question. Dragon on 4K. This is getting lower and lower. 2K. Where's the engage? The Solar Flare goes wide. Needlework invested as well. FMB trying to connect. The last stack used. 3K on the Dragon. Wiser and Damage going into the front line. The Dragon is dropping lower and lower. This would be the Mountain Soul. It is stolen away. It is secured by Wiser. And now Dinquedo trying to go in. The turnaround is good though. The shuffle kicks them all out. But Netuno in the front line trying to dish out all the damage. But the shield is a little bit too big, but the damage is even bigger. The Draven comes in hard. It's a
Quadra?
triple kill. It's a quadra. Is it the penta? No, it's just the quadra. Netuno once again rolling the team fight for Furia.
Yeah, and that's just Draven, right? That's just Draven with the lead. 3 items in, has cashed out a bunch. I will not be surprised if he comes back with a mythic. But you look at the way Pain Gaming played this. They exerted a little bit more pressure on the Dragon. They forced Furia off of it. Yes, they were able to 50-50 it, and unfortunately it ends up going over to Pain Gaming here. And the way they play this fight, this is just Dinkato going in, looking for the shuffle and getting charmed by the Ahri. And you just see not able to produce on this Azir pick. All the meanwhile, Netuno on the backline, the shield bow, the peel coming out from the rest of Furia, and he's able to pick up the quadra kill on the Draven. And that was just Dinkato just not picking the right moment to get that shuffle off. Like I said, he's been very underwhelming on this Azir pick, and you saw what just happened, right? They had the fight won. They had it in their hands, but just gets caught by a stray charm and ends up getting absolutely deleted, right? And then you just see Netuno cleans house, picks up the rapid fire cannon plus stopwatch in his last back. He is ready to fight. He is ready to end the game here.
Yeah, and I mean, there we can see why Netuno was low-key handled, at least at the start of the year, as kind of the next BRTT, right? This big hope, this young ADC star player. And now finally, heading into the playoffs in Split 2, we can see him pop off on that Draven in Game 1. Absolutely phenomenal performance from him in this game. 9-0-4 right now, as the Baron's health bar is melting quicker and quicker. TP's coming in. Pain right over the wall trying to contest this. It's actually being cancelled. Furia does not want to commit, does not want to throw, does not want to coin flip it at this stage of the game.
I 100% agree with the call to not coin flip it, right? Giving Pain Gaming the only way to get back. And if they get this Baron, they slow the game down. It already is at the 27-minute mark. And yeah, we do have about an 8,000 gold lead, but the call for that TP from FNB, I don't know if it was himself TPing because he thought something would happen or somebody called for it, but if the idea is that you just want them to come to Baron and you back off, FNB could have stayed splitting bottom lane because they had the TP advantage from the previous Baron dance, right? But now Wiser ends up having the TP advantage here. FNB is going to be down TP for a little bit. I would have just wished for Fury to keep FNB on the bot side splitting and forcing somebody to answer him and then restarting the Baron. Instead, they thought an engage might have happened or was going to happen from Karaoke, and so they just brought everybody in.
I don't think the intention, or not the intention, but the execution on the play was actually that bad because they got a big wave from the bot lane crashing onto their turret. This gives FMB the opportunity to just group up with his team and force Wiser to stick to that top side of the map, to not be on the bot lane and split pushing because he needs to be around as soon as the fight happens. And for that, well, it looks like Furia is just going to get a tier 2 off of that while they are still threatening this Baron, just dancing salsa in the river. It's looking so good. They're playing such a fantastic macro at the moment.
Yeah, the way they're just moving around. And I talked about it earlier, right? The way they're just able to move around their pieces and get the most value out of it. Furia has just shown why they finished first in this split. They are just they are moving and grooving, right? They're able to put their pieces at the right moment, in the right spots to get the most value. They get the tier 2 turret, like you said. They burn the TP, but able to come back because they stacked that massive wave, and it was able to pick that up. Most likely the same thing's going to happen on the top side. Mountain Soul is coming up. The Dragon Dance is coming, and Pain Gaming, funnily enough, have played these dragons, at least the last 2, very, very well. It's just simply a wallet diff coming out from Furia. I believe if the gold diff is only about 5,000 in the side of Furia, that these fights go really, really differently. But the fact that it's nearly a 10k gold lead for Furia, that even regardless of how well Pain Gaming plays these fights, they are just simply dying and getting shredded to Netuno's Draven at the moment.
Yeah, but that's also the big thing, right? If you lock down this Draven, if you get the execution on him, that might be a way to win a fight. But for the moment, Wiser in trouble. Needs to run immediately, but the Solar Flare just heralds the dawn of his demise, tries to connect onto Netuno. Envy, in the meantime, caught out near the dragon. They can't really finish him though. So it's a Jax down and a team
a
fight
dragon.
not fightable for Pain Gaming.
Yeah, and Furia did the smart thing. Before allowing Pain Gaming to group and contest the drag, they're just like, you know what? We're not going to give you the ability to group. We're going to take out one of your split pushers. They use that vision line, like you said, the way they creeped up their vision and they were able to snuff Pain Gaming's vision out. They used that fog of war advantage to just get the jump onto Weiser, and unfortunately is down for another 15 seconds. Yeah, they can transition this over to Baron. I think even if Weiser TPs, they finally just have the gusto to finish this Baron, to finish this game, and just go on to game 2 here.
Yeah, and especially with this Mountain Soul, I mean, look at the shields. They're not really taking any damage from the Baron right now. Netuno just shredding through it. Karaoke on the side,
Again, they back off.
Is in a position to jump in, and they really just don't want to flip. They're just starting this Baron to bait any misplays from Pain because they know exactly as soon as Pain collapses in, they're just winning the fight.
Yeah, that's really interesting. They've started and stopped it, I believe, 4 times now. And at some point, you have to understand that your wallet is so big that if they commit resources to this Baron, even if they do end up picking it up, you can simply kill the members that have Baron. I feel like Furia is now playing it a little too safe for my comfort, right? I mean, I feel like you could have just finished the dragon, or sorry, the Baron here, but they are just really afraid of Karaoke getting the 50-50 on them. They finally take the tier 2 down in the mid lane, but they had a window to where it would have been a 4v5 because Weiser was still down. I don't know if this Baron's ever going to be taken, Lithy.
I mean, you don't need a Baron to win a game, right? Hell, that's just how it goes. I mean, latest point, 4.5 minutes. Elder Drake is on the Rift, and that one's going to be interesting. The next Solar Flare catches damage, but not quite correctly. Doesn't get stunned up, so he's able to walk away. Thanks to the Unbreakable as well.
Just take
and
the
in
Baron,
the meantime,
guys.
Yeah, just take the Baron, exactly. While Pain is clearing waves, FMB keeps shoving out that bot wave, gets answered by Weiser. It's the same ping pong for the past 10 minutes, basically. And they're once again starting it up. And this time around, Pain not really in a position right now to contest, to collapse on in. This might be the finish that they were looking for. Redbird finds Karaoke. The jump, he steals it! He goes into the pit and gets it. They flip it. They lose the flip, but they get a kill. What is happening here, Shibby? Envy popping off with the flash, with the charm, finds Tinquedo, and here comes FMB with the needlework. The last cast doesn't quite connect. He can't get damage. But they are in the base. The inhibitor turret is gonna fall. What the hell? They bait the Baron for 10 minutes and then they lose it. It's insane.
That's what you deserve, Furia, for starting and stopping the Baron 4 times. That is the irony that you deserve. Pain Gaming with Karaoke, they lose 1. They steal the Baron. They delay the game. Furia, that's what you get for your apprehensiveness. That's what you get. Sorry, Lithy, that's what they get for playing scared. Playing so scared that the moment they actually want to do the Baron, that they try to finish, it gets stolen out here. And I have no respect for Furia in this aspect. You get the Baron stolen after 4 different times of starting and stopping it. You have a 10k gold lead. You have to use it. And if this is the reason they lose this game, I'm just going to say they've started it and stopped it 4 times. Pain Gaming, you deserve it if you win it off of this one.
That's a little bit of a far-fetched to be talking about a Pain comeback here. I'll be very honest with you, man. They're still down 9k gold. They're down a Dragon Soul. They have an open inhibitor in the mid lane. They've only taken a single turret so far this game. The tier 1 in the bot lane. Weiser is going to make that 2 for now. A little bit of objective bounty gold. But other than that, nothing has been going the way of Pain. It's been steals or some scraps they were able to pick up. And now they need to worry about that Elder Drake in a minute 50.
Yeah, but Lithy, if you look across the board, if you just ignore, and I'm saying it's a big ignore, right? If you ignore the item disadvantage from Netuno and Trigo, you look across the board, Weiser.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't consider the gold lead, this game is pretty even, yeah.
I just like to point out though that like the members on Pain Gaming, they've gotten to their power spikes, they've gotten to their scaling points, right? Jax now 4 items. He's ahead of FNB, right? Azir 3 items now, pretty much on par with Envy at the moment, right? Even if you look at Karaoke, he's got the 2 items ready, 2.5. They're both sitting on 2 items plus a Caulfield Hammer. I mean, across the board, the scaling components, other than the Aphelios, who has now locked in 3 items, they're either even or ahead. And you look, a lot of that gold chunk is on Netuno, and the next richest member is Dinkato. If it is any point for now for Dinkato to turn the narrative around that his Azir this game has been underwhelming, it is now. It is now more than ever for them to try to turn this fight around. They've been playing these dragon fights really well, Lithy. I'm afraid that because it's Elder, FNB and Furia, they might be scared to flip it. They may have taken their foot off the gas and have allowed Pain Gaming to slow this game down in a comfortable state.
I don't want to say you're wrong, because you're not. But
oh, it's okay. I might be.
Listen to me for a second here. May I introduce you to the 11-0-4 Draven with 342 CS, without boots, with double penetration items, and 6 combat stat blocks in his inventory. This dude is just gonna roll over anyone. Or he's bait. I mean, it's difficult. I mean, you can definitely engage on him now without any movement speed, but the dragon down to 4k already, and Furia looking to turn massive damage with the needlework. FMB in the front line trying to take it all out. Redbird gets traded back. Netuno can't really find a connection. Is it really Visor who can turn it all around? The Jax is so insane. Trigo does not find it. It's another triple for Netuno. The Draven carry. Not the Draven carry. The Draven carry. Rolling the fight as expected, and Furia march to the first win in this series.
So, Lithy, you're correct. I was completely wrong, right? You can't ignore Netuno on the Draven. It looked good in the beginning. Dinkato was able to pick up the kill onto Redbird, but again, he just completely misses the Shurima shuffle. That I don't think Dinkato